Welcome to Honey's Kitchen. We're making Irish stew. I've got 2 chunks of venison that we had frozen from last year. So I have thawed it out and patted it dry, and I'm going to cut this up in about 2 inch by 2 inch chunks. You don't have to use venison. You can use whatever red meat that you want. You can use lamb if you want. You can use beef. But because I have this and I need to use it up, it's almost hunting season, deer season here where I live. So I'm trying to just use up what we had in the refrigerator from last year. Make sure whatever kind of meat that you have though, you have patted it dry. And y'all, this has been frozen for almost a year. And look how good it still looks. This recipe is not a recipe that you would want to cook on like it's not a fast recipe anyways. It takes about 3.5 hours to make. So you want to do this on a day that either you're off or maybe a Sunday after church. You could, put it in after church and have it for supper. It just takes a little while. It's really good. You put a Guinness beer, a stout beer, and some red wine. It's just really good, but it's so flavorful because it cooks for so long. I'm going to have to pat this off again just because there's so much juice still coming out of these. We want it to be pretty dry because we're going to pan fry it with a little bit of salt and pepper just to kind of brown it on the outside. And we want to sear it pretty good. So we want to make sure that it's pretty dry, the outside of the meat. I've got some avocado oil that is getting hot on the stove. We want to get our pan really hot. I'm using this huge cooker that I have just because I'm making a lot of stew. But we want to make sure that your oil is very hot. So either you can use avocado oil or olive oil, whichever one you like to use or you have on hand. I'm going to sprinkle some salt and pepper on this. So I want to sear it. So I want my pan to be really, really hot. I don't want it to cook all the way through, just the outside. So we'll drop one in and see. That sounds perfect. You don't want to put too much in there though. You want to make sure that you have enough room. So all of them, you get to kind of brown all sides. I'm going to do this in batches. I still have a little bit more, but I'll do this in 2 different batches. And then I have a clean pan over here that I'm going to dip those out when they're finished and kind of set to drain because I want to scrape the bottom and use this juice that's in here and all the goodness from the brown bits to cook my vegetables. The first batch is done, so I'm going to go ahead and add our second one. We're going to cook this, kind of sear it just like we did the first one. My meat's done, so I've got my oil still hot, and I'm going to add, there's onions, celery, and carrots in this. I'm just going to kind of brown them up a little bit. For some reason, Siri thought I was talking to her. I have a mixture of regular carrots that I have peeled and cut, and then some baby carrots that I had just because I had a little bit of both in the fridge and I need to use them up. These veggies are looking really good. They're kind of starting to get a little tender. So I'm going to make a hole in the center because I want to put some garlic in here. Don't be stingy with the garlic either. I honestly do not know how much of this I'm using, but Let's just use all of it. My garlic is all stirred up. Does smell really good. I've got just a few parsnips that I'm going to add to this. If you've never cooked with parsnips, I was really skeptical the first time because I really wasn't sure what they tasted like. And then I bought some for this recipe. And I was like, I could probably just leave them out. I'm going to taste it. So I peeled them. They kind of look like a white carrot. So I peeled them, all the skin off the outside and cut it up. And I tried to eat it like a carrot. Ooh, do not do that. It does not taste good raw. But cooked, it tastes really good. And it flavors really well. Like it flavors, your dish so good. I don't know what this would taste like without it, but if you're not a fan, if you tried it and it's not a fan and you don't like it, then you don't have to put it in here. But if you've never tried it, give it a try and see if you like it. This is really starting to look good and smell really good. I'm going to add some flour just because I want to make like kind of like a roux, some juice. Just coat my vegetables in this. All right, I'm going to start adding some chicken broth, beef broth. I like that, the Kettle and Fire bone broth. This is beef. This is probably a couple of cups. Got 2 more. Couple cups of water. I'm going to already tell that this is going to be too thin. So I probably should have put some more of the flour in there, but that's okay. We can always thicken up sauces using cornstarch. Our stew is almost boiling. It's like really, really close. So now I'm going to add in, wow, I just made a mess with that, some Guinness Extra Stout beer. And I did not realize that I actually like this until I made this. And I tasted it and it's yummy. Maybe 1.5. The other one you can drink. I've got some red cooking wine. You can use red wine if you have red wine. I don't like red wine just to drink. To me, it's too bitter. So I don't just usually have red wine in the house. So I just buy the cooking wine. I've got some Worcestershire sauce. And I'm almost out of this one. So I'm going to use all of that I have in this one container. And then I've got another one. I have no idea how much this is, but I like Worcestershire sauce. Give her a stir. Onion Lipton soup mix. I'm going to use that instead of beef bouillon. And then I've got a small can of tomato paste. I'll also have some thyme. I'm actually using regular thyme and not ground thyme because I do want the little bit larger bits. And a few bay leaves. I don't ever remove these once they're cooked. I just tell my family how many prizes are in here. And this is a big pot, so I'm going to put about 3. Give it a stir. Now I'm going to add our meat to our pan. I do not have a lid that goes to this. I wished I did. My husband got this pan on at an auction. So, and he's restored it, but the lid that was to it was broken. So we've trashed it. So if you know someone who has a lid to this who would be willing to sell it, or just another one that has a lid, y'all let me know. I'm going to cover it with some foil and then put a cookie sheet on the top of it just to kind of hold all the juices and everything in there. And then we're going to simmer it for a couple of hours. We want to get our veggies really tender, and then we want to cook our meat. Stew's been cooking for about an hour and a half, maybe. I'm just going to take this full off, give it a stir. Looky there. Looks so yummy. I am going to add some potatoes now. I've got some Yukon Gold potatoes that I've got diced up. I left the skin on them just because on these potatoes, I don't mind the skin on them. Okay, I'm going to cover it and let it continue to simmer. I'm also going to mix up some herb biscuits just because I think this would go really well with our stew that we have. So I'm going to do 4 cups, start out with 4 cups of flour. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of baking powder. A teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to add some herbs. I've got a little rubbed sage. That was going to take forever doing it that way. Some smoked paprika. Some rosemary. And then some garlic powder. Just going to toss all these together, and then I'm going to add my liquid. I got all my dry ingredients mixed up. I'm going to put some shortening in here, kind of mix it together, and then I have 1.5 cups of milk. You kind of just have to play it by ear once you start putting this in here because it's hard to tell exactly how much you're going to need for where, depends on your climate too, and how much humidity is there. All right, just got about all of our stuff mixed together now. I'm gonna add some cheese to this because I want cheese in there. And we're gonna roll it out. You can put whatever cheese you want, but I have some Romano, I've got some mozzarella and some cheddar. So I'm just gonna kind of look and see what looks best. All of those sound good. All right, looks pretty good. It's just all one ball. So I'm going to get my mat out. We're going to roll some out and cut them. pretty stiff, but it's because I've added all that other stuff to it. Got our biscuits rolled out, and I'm going to use this teeny tiny little tea biscuit because I think that this is just so cute. So remember to go straight down when you're cutting your biscuits, because if you go straight down, kind of punch them like that, it doesn't seal the edges and it allows your biscuit to rise a little bit more. Got one set done. Now I'm gonna get it all together, roll it out again, and do some more. Look at all of our little baby biscuits. They're so cute. All right, I've got my oven on 450. I'm gonna bake them. This is one of my biscuit recipes that I have usually. If it's like a regular size biscuit, like 12 to 15 minutes, but we're gonna have to play this one by ear since I chose to do the tiny ones. I just got these biscuits out of the oven. Y'all, look how much they rose up. This was the opposite of the biscuits I made the last time, but I had enough baking powder this time. They're tall, they're tiny, they're yum. Our stew's been cooking for several hours. I'm just gonna take this aluminum foil off and have a stir, see what it looks like. So good. Smells yummy. I think I am going to mix just a little bit of cornstarch in some water and mix it in here just so my juice will thicken up just a little bit. Do y'all see how it thickened up? The consistency is a little thicker already. Look how yummy. How hearty. So good. So flavorful. Don't worry about that alcohol that's in the beer because it cooks off. We've cooked this for several hours. So it's just for the flavor. All right. Who's coming by to taste and clean?
All right, so y'all, I'm one of them kids that stop in. This is 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
Thanks for stopping by Honey's Kitchen.